Prologue. I am a man on a mission, a vocation, call it, to remake the past, and a wish to fashion all that has been into being and becoming. It all started when my surrogate father, Abednego Mlamambo, sought me out in my lodgings 2 days ago with a bottle of bells in one hand and 2 crystal glasses pressed to his chest. It would have been perfect and may even have made me cry, for no man ever claimed me as his son. Had Abednego not beaten me to it, his sagging yellow face suddenly mugged by sadness as he began to shed tears for that Bukosi, like he has been doing ever since the boy went missing. If only he knew how the boy once made the eerie confession that he wished it was I who was his father and not he, Abednego. Never mind that I'm only 24 and Bukosi had just turned 17. He's been missing for over a week, since the beginning of October. Yes, I must say it again to believe it. It's already beginning to feel to me as though the boy never existed at all. Bukosi is missing. Bukosi is missing. Bukosi is missing. Abednego sat down heavily on my little put-me-up bed, still clutching the whiskey in the glasses, and snottily apologized for crying. I watched his tears dripping into the crystal glass, like our taps on the days when the municipal doesn't cut off the water supply, and tried to cluck sympathetically. He confessed that it pained him to say the boy's name out loud, to look up as though at any moment he would hear his heavy steps thudding on Mama Agnes's polished cement floor, and see his plump walnut face peeping around the living room door. Hey guys, I'm back again, and I'm here doing a review video of House of Stone. This is by Novoyo Rosa Shuma. And she is an author from Zimbabwe. She grew up in Zimbabwe, but she lives in South Africa. And here she is right here. All right. So, this is House of Stone, which was the January pick for the Read So Lit Patreon book club that I run. And let me tell you, this book right here, this is a 5-star book. And not only that, it's a debut novel. So I don't know what y'all waiting for. Y'all need to get on this one. Okay? Now, I'm just going to give you sort of the idea around what the book is about. So this book follows the ups and downs of the country of Zimbabwe. So what she does is through this family, the Mlambo family, Mama Agnes and Abednego are a couple who are searching for their son who has disappeared. His name is Bukosi. And around the time when Bukosi disappears, arrives another young man whose name is Zamani. And we see through the connection of these 3 people, the entire historical background of Zimbabwe, which happens to be a fairly traumatic one. Now, when I picked this up, I only knew some things about the background of Zimbabwe. I wasn't fully aware of all of it. And it's through reading this historical fiction that I learned a lot about this country. So we're going to go through the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s of Zimbabwe. So as you know, Zimbabwe was ruled for many, many years by a dictator whose name was Mugabe. And the book talks about a lot of that. It talks about it and uses this family as a sort of a pivotal. This is the crux of the story, is following what's happening to this family, but through that we're also following what's happening with Zimbabwe. That's all I'm going to tell you, because if I tell you anything else, you're going to be spoiled. So The best thing about this book is the structure. It's told in 3 books. The first book being probably the biggest. It's almost, I would say 40% of the book is book 1, and then you have book 2 and book 3. And I feel like it's the best part about the story is because Shuma does a brilliant job of combining this family story with the historical events of Zimbabwe. It is freaking brilliant. And not only that, but she also manages to make her characters larger than life through her dialogue, which is very, I would say, the dialogue is very informative. You learn a lot about the past, the present, and the future within the dialogue alone. So I would say what you have to do is when you're reading this, keep abreast of the reading of the story, because sometimes the voices change and they don't necessarily have a proper break for you to see that they're changing. I personally didn't have a problem with this, but some people in the book club did have a problem with this. If you feel like you start to read it and you find it a little difficult, because I feel like from what I could see in the book club, part 1 seemed to be the part that was the most difficult for people to get through. I didn't have a problem with it, but some people did have a problem with it. So I feel obligated to tell you that. If you feel like that could maybe put you off, I would also highly recommend the audiobook for House of Stone. Now, I didn't start with the audiobook. I read 50% of the book and I was fine. And then everybody kept raving about, in the club, about how good the audio was. So for the second half of the reading, I picked up the audio for about half of the second half of the reading, and I thought it was fantastic. The guy who reads Zumani is brilliant. That's all I gotta say. So you can pick up that audio to help you through the book. This is historical fiction. Usually in historical fictions, I don't often have to go and look things up. This one I was compelled to go look up some things because I wanted to understand very well some of the things that she was saying. And a lot of the characters, or should I say a lot of the people in the book, are real. Some of them are real. Not the main characters, but the people that are around them that are dealing, when you're dealing with reading about the historical side of Zimbabwe. So yeah, I felt compelled to look things up, and you know what? I'm the better for it. I found out some things that I did not know, and it really instructed me, and it changed me a little bit, this book, because this is when when you learn something and you didn't know before and it touches you so much, yeah, you feel slightly changed by it. And I think that's the best way that I can describe it. But this book came out in 2018. I don't think I saw very many people on here talk about this book. But let me tell you, if you have time, I say make time for this one. It's worth it. This one is definitely a 5-star read. Even if you don't give it 5 stars, I swear to you, you won't give it less than 4. Because it is that brilliant. That brilliant. Okay? So, that's all I have to say about this one. Comment below if you've read this one, or you want to read this one, or you have it on your TBR. Let me know, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.